All right, there's been a lot of talk about setup, especially with the WaySafe and how the app works and how these trailers are set up. So this is our 31G 2021 Momemtum 31G, and I just wanted to go over how we have it set up, how we have ours set up, and what we do, and how, you know, what changes that are made with water, without water, with the talon, without the talon. All those sorts of things. So, and yes, we're cheating. This is my 17 Cummins auto level dually, and I'm not apologizing for cheating. So I love that truck. So the trailer, this is pretty much how we do it. I have a storage pad in the back behind my shop right there, my other dually. And we'll move it up in the driveway, and obviously a paved driveway, and it's fairly level, so can't always depend on these exact measurements. But just to talk about where we are, the truck's set up with the ball height about 23.5 inches without anything on it. And then once it auto levels, once you attach everything at auto levels, it's actually a little bit less than that. And as you can see, I think you probably can tell, the trailer is actually about 3 inches nose down right now. And there's no water in the tanks. We're obviously set up to put water in the tanks, but there's no water in the tanks, and there's nothing in the garage. We pretty much duplicated everything, so we do have a ton of stuff that's in the trailer, and we don't, I mean, basically whatever's going in the refrigerator is really about all we lack in being ready to camp. And we talk about tongue weight, and to start off with, and I will say that most of you have seen the other videos, but there's a 200 amp hour Renology hybrid gel battery in there, in that battery box, and it weighs like 130 pounds. The tanks are full, so I just want to show you for right now where we are, and hopefully that comes through well enough. But we're sitting almost exactly 1,900 pounds of tongue weight, like I said, with nothing in the garage and no water in the tanks, but pretty much everything else in there ready to camp. So, and like I said, right now the LevelMate Pro is saying that it's about 2.5 inches nose down. Measuring on the frame, it actually measures to be about 3 inches nose down. So let me continue to set up here. We're going to fill up the tanks and come back, and I'll show you how much that affects or doesn't affect the tongue weight, because I know there's been a lot of discussion about that, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. All right, so we're back with full tanks now, and let's talk a little bit about that. I think probably most people are familiar with the issue with these trailers of losing water out the overflows, and or out the vents/overflow. And this is a 21 trailer. It was built in November 20, and it has that problem. And I chose to do the shark bite valves on the overflows. They're kind of hard to see, but they are right in there. Or maybe you can see them. 2 of them there. And right around 80 gallons. Starts pouring out that front overflow. So close that valve and open the rear valve. Get about maybe 7 more gallons in there. So of the 90-gallon tanks, the listing says 100, but if you look at your bill sheet, you'll see that the tanks actually hold 90, and the rest of that is in the lines and in the water heater. So of those 90-gallon tanks, I can get about 87, 88 gallons in there by closing the front one whenever it starts overflowing, and not closing the rear one till it starts overflowing. So now there's a pretty solid amount of water in there, and show you where we are now. A little bit scary, but it's where we are. Sitting on right about 2,200. And so a couple things to remember there, and no, I'm not worried about that. So a couple things to remember there. If you remember what we talked about, the trailer's nose down right now because it doesn't have any weight distribution bars on it yet, and that's what's causing that to be that high. Everything's towards the front. But I just wanted to show you that on this trailer anyway, whenever you fill those tanks, it does make, you know, some difference in tongue weight. So we've gone from 1900 to 2200 tongue weight here. So I'm gonna load the Talon and get it tied down, and then we'll see how that puts us as far as level and all of that. And we'll get the weight bars on it and come back and show you the finished setup. All right, y'all, we're back and we're ready to resume our video. And through the magic of video, it's almost exactly 1 month later, because I fouled up this segment of the video before when I did it before, and I didn't realize till it was too late. So had to wait till we went camping again. And but just to recap where we were from the last segment, we got the Talon loaded, full of water. As you can see, a little water out of the overflows again, like we talked about last time. I sort of misspoke, and I want to make for sure that everybody's clear that both of those valves on the overflows have to be open whenever you're filling, whenever the water pump's running, you're using water, whatever. Those valves have to be open. The only time for those valves to be closed is during transport. So as soon as I have those things done, I close those valves. And the very first thing that I do whenever I get to the camping spot is open those valves back up again, so I don't forget. So very important there. A couple people that asked some questions that I'm going to answer real quick here. So the truck is an auto level truck. I think I mentioned that right back at the start, but for those of you with auto level trucks or with airbag trucks, my suggestion would be to do what the auto level does, which is to get this tongue height, you know, where you think you need to be. Like I said, for us, it's about 23.5 inches. And this trailer does have the CRE 3000 suspension stuff under it, so which made it just a little bit taller, so that might not be good for you. So you just got to figure out what's level for yours. So people had already had asked also about this tongue head, or the hitch head, and that sucker's heavy, man. This hitch weighs like 150 pounds. So what I do with it is I take the weight bars off and I just put them in the back of the dually. And then the hitch head itself, I got this little 1,000-pound furniture dolly from Harbor Freight. I think it was like 10 or 12 bucks or something. And the hitch head fits on that thing perfectly. And I just put it on that and roll it in my shop. So that's what I do with that. So let me get that out of the way. So I'm gonna have to deal with that. And like I said, it's really windy today, so I'm gonna try to make for sure that hopefully this video or the audio is good. If it's not, you won't see this video anyway. So, all right, let's start right here. So back to our Level Mate Pro and get this where it is. So with the Talon loaded, the tongue still needs to go up. It's trying to make up its mind, but let's just say 2.5 inches. You can see where these weight bars are in relation to the brackets. All right, let's talk about this for a second. These are the equalizer nylon pads. I bought them on Amazon. I will put the link down there for that, of course, like everything else. And those pads, I love those pads. They obviously don't fit exactly on the way safe. I wish they would make some that are for the way safe, but they will work fine even though they don't exactly fit. And it absolutely makes this hitch totally silent. Those are a must to me. Those little nylon things are great. So like I said, we need to go up 2.5 inches. So let's look over here at our way safe app, and I can get it to focus. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. So, and yes, I know the trailer's overweight, but according to everything that I see on my weight scale, on my scale tickets from the cat scale, the trailer actually weighs 13,200. There's 11,700 on the axle, so no, I'm not worried about that either. The tongue weight with the Talon in there today is sitting right on 1,700. It's usually around 1,650, 1,700. So that's telling us that our distributed weight needs to be 3,350. I normally put that on 3,400. Interestingly enough, if you remember back at the first, if you don't have anything in this trailer, then as far as the Talon or any water, then the trailer weighs 11,200. and the tongue weight's 1900. So the app says, for my situation on that should be at 3400. So I just set it at 3400. Now, this week there was a question as well about, on one of the Facebook groups, about the bolt being really hard to turn, and the bolt is difficult to turn. I have a long 1/2 inch drive ratchet or cheater bar that I use there with a 3/4 inch socket. And once I get this set, like I said, as you can see from what we just talked about, we're basically not moving it. Once we figured out where we needed to be, if it's completely no fresh water and no talon, or full of fresh water and the talon, it sort of works out to about the same. So I basically don't move that bolt very much at all. I also do not release the pressure off the bolt to hook up the bars or to unhook the bars. So simple way to get that is I'm going to just extend the jack, and of course this jack is slow as Christmas, y'all know that. So, and as this jack starts to pick up the back of the truck, you want to be a little bit careful with this with auto level trucks, of course. Or airbag trucks in general. You don't want to stretch out the bags too far. But as it begins to pick it up, then you can see what happens here. That weight bar, you can see it moving, is actually getting closer and closer and closer to the bracket. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it up here. Like I said, you don't want to pick it up and get too crazy with it, but we're going to get it up here. Somewhere in that neighborhood. You don't need any more. I'm going to try this with one hand. I normally do it with two, obviously, but let's try it with one. So we'll just take our trusty tool that came from WaySafe and just pop the bar on there. We'll also take our trusty 3-pound hammer from Harbor Freight. That'll get the thing on there. The other side's going to be way easier, just because that it's not. Once this bar is on there, then the other side's going to be much easier. So let me get the other bar on there, and then we'll come back and wrap it up. All right, and we're back. The wind is actually blowing the trailer, but you can see end to end we're dead on zero. So the wind's blowing the trailer, that's why the rest of it's moving. But so the trailer is actually sitting perfectly level, and I haven't done anything besides put the weight bars on there. Didn't turn anything here. 3,400. So we need to just drive off from here. I mean, it's that simple. Let me walk out here and show you if I can. Y'all can see, matter of fact, I'll show you this. I'll have another video coming up on this. This is our plumbing connection. So we got our own dump station now, right here for our macerator pump. So, and it may be kind of hard to tell, but the trailer actually is sitting perfectly level now from end to end. You see the attitude of the dually, it looks good, no sag, no nothing, and we're looking good going down the road, and it absolutely pulls perfectly. So hopefully I've answered questions about the setup here. This is the way I do it. Maybe not the right way, just the way I do it. So anybody has any questions or comments, be sure to leave those below. Please do subscribe. We won't spam you or do anything, I promise. But the subscriptions really help us with YouTube. And we'll be back soon with more videos. Thank you and have a great day.